readings this week. I'm also going to be using this beautiful moss agate. For the crystal scrying over on the members side of the channel. Let me see if I can. Oh, that just makes it brighter. Okay, well, that'll be fine. I think that my neighbor has purchased an elephant. That's what it sounds like anyway. Hi, Kayla's lovely. Thank you for coming. It's really good to see you. I will, of course, be purifying the space. Happy Monday to all of you out there. That smells really lovely. So, let's get right into it. I'm going to start with the sign of Cancer. So we are fast approaching Cancer season. As a matter of fact, toward the end of this month, although it will still be Gemini season for a bit longer. I'm not trying to skip Gemini season or anything. Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, Mercury, Mars, whatever you would like to know about Cancer placements. Even maybe you have a Cancer in your midheaven or something like that. All right. And Cancer, just allow your intention to be set for the reading. Allow any thoughts that you have to rise up to the forefront of your mind so they can be addressed in the reading. And if these are things that are stressful for you, I invite you to gently breathe through that energy. Sorry, my hard drive is like really loud. That's what that humming noise is. I need to find a place to put it where it's not going to be so loud. I just bought a longer cable, so hopefully that won't continue into the next video. But anyhow, if there are any things that are stressing you out right now, Cancer, just inhale, draw in that divine light of Source, and then as you exhale, just release any of that tension or stress or discomfort that you're feeling at this time. It will be returned to Source, and it will be transmuted. and write down my timestamp. All right. Cancer, let's get started. Excuse me. A little tired. I've been waking up early for this new job. So here in the past, Cancer, you are showing up. You're showing up in the past and you're showing up in the reverse. So this could indicate a time when you were being very true to yourself. This could also indicate a time where there was victory for you and that time is now past, or when there was great mobility for you as well, Cancer. But it looks like moving into the current situation, that is no longer the case. You've left that behind for whatever reason. Now, sometimes cycles just change. Sometimes we develop into someone we no longer recognize, and that's okay too. Let's find out a little bit more about what's going on. So here, in the place of the significator, the center of the reading, this represents you currently in the reading, Cancer. We have the Three of Rings, and this card is showing up in the reverse. So you might not have a very good professional reputation at this time, or you might not be working well with groups at this time. Hi, Ultra. Thank you for coming. And again, there's all kinds of reasons why that might be the case. This is crossed by the Hanged Man energy. Let's see if I can move this a little bit further away. There we go. Okay. I just had to move it a little bit further away from my computer. So, this being crossed by the Hanged Man, you could be waiting for new opportunities to come in. This could be professional opportunities. It could be opportunities to work in a group with other people. And there might have been a certain amount of self-sacrifice that you had put into working with others. So the Chariot is your card, Cancer. We have that in the past. The Hanged Man is water elemental energy and is also associated with the planet of Neptune. So where we have this Hanged Man coming out here is the crossing energy. That's also bringing in more water energy to this reading, such that there's a lot of emotions going on here, possibly, or a lot of self-evaluation in regards to one's emotional states. So Cancer, now we're going to look at the card in the Imam Seelai, and the Imam Seelai is beneath the significator and represents the origins or foundations upon which the goal or destiny will be built. And we'll be looking at that. We look at the midheaven, which is above the significator. And the card that we have in the Imam Seelai is the King of Wands. The King of Wands is somebody who leads through creativity and charisma. Somebody who has ideas and acts upon them. Somebody who manifests their creative energies and is able to put these artistic visions out into the world in a very effective way. that could be you that you're dealing with at this time, Cancer. There could also be a fire sign person in your life, and that could be their energy. From your perspective, we have the Six of Swords, and this energy is coming out in the upright, such that the Six of Swords is a card having to do with pilgrimage. It can have to do with Exodus. It is not as much about leaving a situation like how the Eight of Cups is, though. The Six of Swords is more about the aspect of it being mobility. So we have these cards about mobility. You've had mobility in the past with the Chariot card. You have mobility from your perception, that you have mobility in the current situation, that you are able to move freely. Sometimes this can be about moving house. It can be about relocation. But the difference being that it's not as much about leaving the situation as it is about the mobility behind going somewhere new. From an outside person's perspective, looking in on your situation, Cancer, we have the Page of Swords, and this card is in the reverse. So the Page of Swords in the reverse can be about false information. It can be about spying also. So somebody could be watching you on social media. You could be watching somebody else on social media, especially if this King of Wands is somebody else related to your situation. But it doesn't have to be, because we do have that Chariot card in the past. So, hi Savannah, thank you for coming. Yes, I'm doing quite well at this time, thank you. I hope you're doing well too. Oh, we are on the Cancer reading, so you got here just in time. Hi Jason, thank you for coming. It's good to see you. So Cancer, we do have this Chariot energy in the past that could be carried into the present as this King of Wands. But of course, it's a general reading, so it's going to be a little bit different for everyone. Somebody might be envious of your mobility, or might be watching the moves that you're making, because that's the Page of Swords in reverse. Where it's in the upright, it's about gathering information, and usually on your part. But then when it's in the reverse, it can be about false information. It can be about spying. So it could also be that somebody has a misconception about what's going on with you at this time. Here in the future, we have the Knight of Wands. Yes, I'll be doing Scorpio next, Ultra. And the Knight of Wands is in the upright. So this is about acting. This is fire energy. We have a lot of fire in your reading. We do have air, but these court cards that we have coming out are both fire sign energy. So you could be dealing with a fire sign person, or you could be that fire sign person. But where that Knight of Wands is showing up in the upright in the future, that could be that the opportunity to act will be upon you at that time. where we're looking at your hopes and fears. In the hopes and fears, we have the Knight of Rings. So you are hoping that material resources will be coming into you. And you could be hoping that that will be the case because of some different moves that you're making with that Six of Swords there. So now we're going to look at the midheaven, which is the goal or destiny. And it is what this King of Wands is laying the foundation for. So the King of Wands in the current situation can be somebody being very successful at manifesting their creative vision, putting that out into the world, being a leader to others in that regard. But then what we have in the midheaven is the Seven of Swords, which has to do with backstabbing and can have to do with betrayal. It can have to do with somebody pulling the wool over your eyes, so to speak. So that could have to do with that King of Wands. But even though we don't have the Seven of Wands here, the King of Wands is somebody who's going to end up in a very prominent position. But then that has the potential to make that person a target. We also have, these swords down here. The one sword from the Page of Swords and the six swords there. I think there are precursors to this that you would be wise to look out for. There are things going on around you, Cancer, that it's important for you to pay attention to because it's going to be building up to this situation, whatever this might be. Seven of Swords can be self-betrayal too, and not listening to your intuition or listening to what you know to be the truth, even being deceived by what you believe your intuition to be telling you, even. So just be aware of your surroundings, be aware of who you're surrounding yourself with and their motivations. So King of Wands is air, fire energy. And then the Knight of Wands is fire energy. So very active energies. And they're showing up in the upright. So to me, that says that those people are not the problem in the situation. I think the bigger issue that you might be dealing with, Cancer, is you're surrendering your power in certain situations that have to do with group work and group dynamics. So the final outcome for your reading, and this can be not just kind of wrapping everything up, but also warnings, advice. We have the Three of Wands, and it's showing up reversed. So the Three of Wands is about the energies that you put out returning to you threefold. And where we have this card showing up in the reverse in this final outcome position, I think you are really being cautioned as to what kind of energies you are putting out. That they be the ones that you want to have returned to you. This is kind of a closed off energy where we have that Three of Rings in the reverse. And that could be a perception of the self that you don't have the right connections, or that you don't have enough to put on your resume or something like that. But it's crossed by that hanged man. And this with the hanged man really really tells me, in conjunction with this Three of Wands, that if you hold too tightly onto your energies and you're not putting anything out at all, it's going to be cutting off a lot of your mobility and a lot of your options. There's a few different things going on in this reading, Cancer. And it is a little difficult to parse out. There's kind of an aspect here, too, of maybe not somebody exactly having it out for you, but that that people might not be seeking you out because you're waiting for other people to come to you. And that's going to end up being a detriment to you in the long run. So that is going to conclude the Cancer reading for this week. I hope you find that guidance helpful. I will be going over to the members side of the channel once I have done with this live stream, and I will be doing some crystal scrying with this beautiful slab of moss agate. So if that interests you, you are cordially invited, but your presence here on the channel is greatly appreciated, no matter what form it takes. All right, so now we're going to move on to the sign of Scorpio. Scorpio, Scorpio, Scorpio. And this could be Scorpio sun, moon, rising, Venus, whatever Scorpio placement you are currently resonating with, excuse me. And Scorpio, just go ahead and set your intention for the reading, and then allow any thoughts associated with that situation to rise up to the forefront of your mind, and just wait there patiently while I shuffle the cards. And if there's hi Divine Nation. I'm glad today feels special for you, Ultra. So Scorpio, if you have any tension associated with the situations that you want to hear about in the reading today, or just in general, I invite you to gently breathe through that energy. Deeply inhale and draw in the divine white light of Source. And then as you exhale, just release that tension, any negative energy you've been holding on to, and it will be returned to Source and it will be transmuted. Okay, I don't think I can shuffle these cards anymore. Let's see what we have here. Oh, wow. Okay. Scorpio. What we have here. going to write down your timestamp. Okay. So, Scorpio, Cancer had 2 knights in their reading, and you also have 2 knights in your reading. And then across the bottom of the reading, we have all cups. So we have the only cup court card that's missing from your reading is the page. So lots of people showing up, lots of water sign energy, Scorpio. Here in the past, we have the Knight of Swords. This is fire of air energy. The Knight of Swords is the energy of the dichotomous key. It's the energy of doing your spring cleaning, and you've got your keep pile and your get rid of pile. That kind of binary discernment. The Knight of Swords also can be somebody who is a champion of certain causes that they believe to be right. They have a very clear sense of right versus wrong. But there's not a lot of room for gray area in between. So there might have been something that triggered this kind of activity within you, Scorpio, in the past. And this is something that is continuing into the current situation. So the Ace of Swords would be more like if you were actively making changes in your life on this ongoing basis, whereas the Knight of Swords, you might have more like this binary discernment going on. And that can extend into a lot of different parts of your life, your friend groups, your wardrobe, what kind of food you're eating, all of those things. It is Pride Month, so maybe you have strong opinions about that. I know I do. Happy Pride Month. So, Scorpio, let's look at the significator. And we do have a court card here, which is the Knight of Cups. So this is fire of water energy. This could be you in the reading, Scorpio. It is in the place of the significator. So whereas in the past, maybe you were embodying more this Knight of Swords, and you were using logic to determine that discernment, the Knight of Swords can get very impassioned about stuff. Hence that fire energy augmenting the air energy. The Knight of Cups is more about trusting your intuition and listening to your heart and your gut before you listen to your brain. It's also about tapping into your emotions. And this is crossed by the Two of Rings. So this is about partnerships. And it can be about a marriage, but it's more about the contracts, the different kinds of contracts. So this could be a business partnership. It can be about balance also. So maybe what's going on is there's a balance between that Knight of Swords, that logic, and the Knight of Cups, incorporating that intuition into your decision-making processes. And that you're striking that balance here with the Two of Rings. So down in the Imam Sili, that's going to be the foundation of what ends up happening in the midheaven. that's the goal or destiny position. And down in the MMCLI, we do have the Ace of Cups. So there's an emotional renewal going on. There is a new emotional cycle beginning for you. This could be meeting new people that you become very close to. It could also just be trusting your intuition, trusting that part of yourself to guide you in the right direction. From your perspective, we have the Queen of Cups. Now, this could be how you see yourself in the current situation. We have a few iterations of the cups here. And to some extent, there could be multiple people involved. But I'm kind of taking some of these things as being different aspects of your personality, Scorpio. So the Queen of Cups is water of water energy. And this is the card of still waters running deep, that this is somebody who's very nurturing to others emotionally, but as far as their own emotions are concerned, they keep it hidden away. They don't want other people to know when they are feeling discomfort. They don't want other people to know when they are experiencing feelings of an almost human nature. And so from the outside looking in, and that's why I say, I feel like these are two different aspects of the self. We have the King of Cups showing up in the reverse. And this King of Cups in the reverse can be somebody who's a little emotionally manipulative. And they do have resources. This is air of water energy. And they do have that discernment. So they're not just relying, like the Knight of Cups, on their intuition. They also have this healthy level of discernment. So we do have that Knight of Swords and the Knight of Cups. Remember, going from this binary discernment of the past into the current situation with that more emotional discernment. But people from the outside looking in might not be able to parse out your motivations and might see them as being kind of manipulative from an emotional standpoint, not necessarily financially manipulative or conniving, if that makes sense. Here in the future, Scorpio, we have the Judgment card, and this card is coming out in the reverse. So there could be a test for you in the future. A lot of what is out here currently, Scorpio, that we've covered so far is very much to do with emotional states and very much to do with how possibly new people coming into your life are going to perceive your emotional presentation and how that's going to affect things like business partnerships or affect your ability to balance things in your life. Because from this perspective, it looks like you are reaching a point of balance. But that in order for that to translate out to other people properly, there is a process of elevating the self that might need to occur. This is the card leading into your future. And I don't know that it's necessarily you searching your own motivations as much as it is a matter of maybe being able to open up to others. Finding ways that you can be emotionally open to other people while still not getting completely destroyed by it. Because always when there's closed off parts of the self, like with the Queen of Cups, people can perceive that as somebody being of people hiding things or being manipulative. So that might be something that will bear looking into for you, Scorpio. In the hopes and fears, we have the Ace of Rings. And this card is about new financial beginnings, new financial cycles beginning. And it's something that you are greatly looking forward to. And I can see here bringing things into balance. And that could be emotionally why you're getting all these things lined up, because you think that that's going to be the key for you. This emotional fulfillment will translate into financial success. So the result of this Ace of Cups is going to be the Sun, and it's showing up in the reverse, but this is the midheaven position. So this card does have the potential to be upright, but there might be pending circumstances. And I think that it has a lot to do with we only have 2 major arcana cards in your reading, Scorpio, and they're both coming out in the reverse. And they're both these, it's this progression, 19, 20, but it looks like they might be a bit out of order because here, this one is the future position and this one is the midheaven position. So it seems as though parts of this progression for you, Scorpio, might be slightly out of order. And especially if you're perceiving that reaching a state of emotional balance is going to necessarily bring in the financial beginning that you want. It's not like putting the cart before the horse. It's just that the two things are not entirely corollary. So while it is going to be very important for you to find ways to translate your inner emotional states to people that you might not know very well in a way that's going to come across as warm and delightful and not come across as, like you have hidden emotional motives. There are some things that are going to have to occur, but there might also be aspects of overthinking things here too, because this Judgment card in the reverse, there's a lot of it's not really, maybe it is that dire, but maybe you're kind of missing the point, and that's what the Judgment card in the reverse is about. That it's not about, it's good for you to be in a healthy emotional state, but it also is not the key to your success necessarily. But meeting all these new people does have the potential then to lead to success and happiness with the Sun card there. And the Sun card is always a good card. It, even when it comes out reversed, it still has a very positive meaning. It's just that everything's perfect except for maybe one or two little things here and there. And I think that has more to do with perspective. That you might be judging yourself too harshly, and it's going to prevent you from enjoying the fruits of your labor, Scorpio. The final outcome card for your reading, Scorpio, is the Queen of Rings, and she's showing up reversed. So, hi, who's you? Thank you for coming. It's good to see you. So the Queen of Rings in the reverse, this is water of earth energy. So where we have the water dampening the soil and allowing things to be fertile and to grow, that's one thing. But in this case, I kind of perceive that the emotions of the situation are drowning out everything else. And that's why she's showing up reversed here. It's good to have a well-irrigated field. But you can also, if you overwater your crops, then they can wilt and wither and get moldy in the roots. And that's going to hamper that fertile proliferation. So just as you used this energy in the past to cut through all of the unnecessary middle ground, Scorpio, I invite you, moving forward, it's really not that dire of a situation. I invite you to rely less on your intuition in situations with other people and not get as caught up in the emotional states of things. And I think that's a large part of what they talk about with mindfulness training. Excuse me, where you look at situations from a more objective standpoint. And instead of getting caught up on the little intricacies of what people are saying, you just listen to what they say. And then if they have their own ulterior motives, that's their problem. And it really doesn't have anything to do with you. And kind of isn't your business. And so you don't have to focus on those things. I would say be more objective and less inclined to read into things emotionally as you are meeting these new people in your life, Scorpio. And that is going to conclude the Scorpio reading for this week. I'm going to move on now and do the sign of Pisces. And when I finish with Pisces, I'm going to go over to the members side of the channel. Oh, thank you, who's you, for joining the channel. I really appreciate your support. And I'll be doing that after the Pisces reading. So, Pisces, if you would like, go ahead and set your intention for the reading. What you'd like to get out of the experience. Maybe there's something in particular you'd like to know about, just allow any of those thoughts and feelings to rise up to the forefront of your mind. Ooh, got a jumper. Wonderful jumper. Okay. And if there's anything about these thoughts or feelings that you find troubling or that's causing you anxiety, I invite you to gently breathe through those energies. And as you inhale, draw in the divine white light of Source. And then as you exhale, just release anything that's not serving you, and it will return to Source, and it will be transmuted. Yes, Ultra, we are starting Pisces now. I will put down the timestamp. Okay. So here in the past for you, Pisces, we have the Six of Wands, and it's showing up reversed. So there could have been a victory for you in the recent past, a situation where you experienced success. You might have even risen above your peers in some way. And that situation has kind of resolved, but it still kind of sets the stage for what's going on in the current situation. So what we have there is the Four of Wands. And this card is showing up in the upright. The Four of Wands is also a celebration. So the Six of Wands is slightly more established than the Four of Wands, but they're both similar cards when we're talking about the overall situation. It's a time of celebration. It's a time of happily ever afters, but we know that there's going to be a sequel. Four of Wands can also be purchasing a home. It can be getting married. And some people call it the 1111 card because, of course, the two sets of wands looks like 1111. And this is crossed by the Death card, Pisces. So we have major life changes coming through along with this cause for celebration. Or perhaps that the celebration comes because of these major changes. And there's another really transformative card in the midheaven position, but I don't want to get ahead of myself here. So down in the Imam Silai, we have the King of Rings, and he's in the reverse. So this is air of earth energy, which creates a balance, but where we have the King of Pentacles showing up in the reverse, you can be a little stuck in your ideas of what is going to bring in financial success for you. The King of Rings in the reverse could also be a situation with a landlord or somebody else where this is a person who's in a position of financial authority. Like maybe you're applying for a loan and the bank is kind of giving you the runaround or something like that. Overall, the situation is very good. And this might just be some antiquated ideas about money, Pisces, that you're going to need to move through. From your perspective, we have the Six of Cups, and it's in the upright position. So you could perceive that something from your past is coming back around again. This could be a person from your past. It could also be things from your childhood about which you are nostalgic. Like maybe you've been watching a bunch of ad compilations on YouTube from like the 80s and 90s or something like that. And there are things about it that are really resonating for you. But this could have to do with whatever this is returning from the past. There could be some ideas about money that are outdated or outmoded or just not functional for you that kind of bubble back up with that situation. Here, from an outside person's perspective, we have the moon. Now, the moon is a card about artistic endeavors, but it's also a card about things being very unclear. So, in your dealings with other people, there might be things that are not translating properly. And this was something that was kind of coming out in the Scorpio reading as well, about how you are translating to others. And so if you're not being very clear about money in some way, and this is something that is rooted in your past, that way of dealing with it, it's going to seem unclear to other people. This could be a situation where, you have this great opportunity, but because you don't negotiate your salary, you end up getting lowballed on your salary, and you could have made a lot more money if you had negotiated. And then people don't really have a good, clear understanding about where you stand in regards to that contract. It could be something like that. It could be like you have a friend and they ask you to do something, and it takes a lot of time and skill and effort to complete this thing, and you need to get paid for it. But because they're your friend, maybe you decide to do it for free. All of these things are possibilities. So here in the future, Pisces, we have the Four of Cups, and it's showing up in the reverse. Very soon it's going to be time to act on one of these options. And you have maybe a handful of options around you. Maybe these are options coming in from the past that you have a choice between. Yes, I would say that a lot of us have that problem. It's considered kind of rude, I think, to bring up money, but it has to be done, and especially in exchange for your energy. But with this Four of Cups in the reverse in the future, there will come a time where either you are going to act and you're going to make that choice, or the choice will end up being made for you. So here in the hopes and fears, we have the Two of Wands, and this card is showing up in the reverse. The Two of Wands is about planning. It's about charting a course, looking at the map, putting all your little stick pins in the map along the route that you're going to take, and setting out is the Six of Swords. But where we have this card in the reverse, you might feel like you don't have the information that you require to take part in this planning process. Or because this card is in opposition to the Six of Cups. So maybe these things coming in from the past, for some reason, you're not able to look at those things objectively enough to feel like you can plan properly. There's something about this situation, and we do have, the crossing energy of the Death card, which is big changes. There's something about this where I feel like, Pisces, you're afraid to take control in a situation for some reason. That there might be, and it might be rooted in your past. But people are expecting you to take this position of authority, and then when you don't, they get really confused by that. And you're going to have to be able to do that, or it will be done for you. So in the midheaven, we do have the Ten of Swords. And this is a card having to do with endings. It can be a painful ending. It doesn't have to be. Sometimes by the time you get to the Ten of Swords, it's like ripping the Band-Aid off, and it's just a relief to have it over with. So that's going to be the result of this situation with the King of Pentacles in the reverse down here in the Imam Sili. And I've discussed a few different scenarios regarding that, but it's not a sustainable situation, whatever scenario applies to you. And so that is going to be coming to an end. It's not sustainable. And the final outcome for your reading this week, Pisces, is the Magician card. And the Magician is somebody who absolutely takes control of the situation. They create and manifest the destiny that they desire. And that is going to be the way that you eliminate this lack of clarity when it comes to other people. Is going to be seizing control by your creative and manifestive power. So it's not even that you necessarily have to approach it with force, because, like I said, the King of Pentacles can be an authority figure, right? You need to be able to take a position of authority, but do so through creative and manifestive means. So I hope that this reading was helpful to you, Pisces. That is going to conclude the water sign readings for this week. I want to say a big thank you to all of you who joined the live stream. I want to say a big thank you as well to all of you who watch the broadcasts at a later date. I am going to go now over to the member side of the channel to do the crystal scrying video, and sometimes we hang out and I answer other questions over there. So if you want to come and hang out, you are cordially invited. But your presence here on the channel is greatly appreciated in whatever form it takes. Thank you. you as always for your support, and I look forward to seeing you again very, very soon.